Welcome back to Tech Talks. Happy Wednesday. We've got another background change. I am at my family's cabin, but let's dive in. So today I really want to discuss is how to make proof of concepts successful. And, I just recently had somebody actually start calling a proof of concept proof of value, which I love that change because I think that's where, when we're doing a proof of concept, you really want to be able to see where the value is in what you are testing out. So with that, we are going to be using POV, and I know it also stands for point of view, but for today, we're talking about proof of value. And so I want to start off too by saying, when I say success is definitely going to be defined by what you call success. And so what I'm discussing is, really is what I think it makes something successful. And I don't think I've said it on here before, but I am very keen on making sure that, success is always defined by yourself. It's not defined by another company or another person. It's always defined by you. And so I really just wanted to start by saying that. And so I think the first part to, proof of value being successful is communication between both the customer and the provider. I think that is really big because what I have seen is a little bit of, sometimes there is a lack of communication. And when the lack of communication happens, then that is when the proof of value becomes invaluable. And, the reason why is because what the product has to offer, is really making sure that that's what the customer is looking at when they're doing the proof of value. Because we all know that tools can be used for a majority of different things. And, really making sure that your communicate is like what you want that future state to be. Because when you aren't able to communicate what you want that future state to be and the different aspects that you are wanting to look at and see, then that's when, the miscommunication happens and the proof of value is just not there. So that is definitely one part of success, or one part of for proof of concept to be successful. And, when I'm talking about this though is, it's communication on the phone, but also after, making sure that you're communicating through the whole process, not just, you get on the first sales call and you want a proof of value and they set you up, the provider sets you up with the demo account, and then you're going through it, but then there's no communication after that. So, making sure you're communicating through the whole process, both from the customer end and also from the provider's end as well. So that is definitely one part of it. And the second part I would say is definitely making sure that you are, and it kind of goes with the whole communication aspect, is setting up the, I don't like, just making sure that you are setting up the expectations before, right at the beginning, rather than, down the line when the proof of concept is about to end, the trial is going to end, whatever it might be, is making sure that you're setting the expectation not only with the provider, but also with the whole team. So whether that be, you're the decision maker and you're the one that are having these calls with the provider and then relaying the information, is making sure that all of that information is being relayed throughout the whole process, I think is extremely important because, going back to communication, once that communication is missed, whether that be downstream or, even at the provider level, is just making sure that you really have that together. So another part of it is making sure all resources are a part of these conversations. And when I'm saying resources, I'm saying from both the provider and from the customer side as well. Because when you have all of the resources together on your team on both sides, you are able to make a more efficient conversation. And that goes with any process of buying as well, is making sure that you have all of the team's resources on deck and on hand, especially when having conversations with providers, because it becomes a disconnect when you don't have all resources on deck. And I know sometimes, you might not realize that you need a resource, but just making sure that you have that up front, I think is definitely beneficial. And so with that, those are just, I would say, the three. There's obviously so many more, but those are what I feel is the three most important in terms of creating a proof of value to be successful. And, I think, like I said, is it all kind of trickles back to communication. And when you aren't able to have that effective communication streamlined, then that is when it becomes invaluable. So with that, happy Wednesday. I hope you have a great Thanksgiving spent with family and friends or whomever you're spending it with. But have a great Thanksgiving and have a great rest of your week. Take care.